Hello and welcome to episode 29 of our Timberborn 1.0 full release playthrough with Folktales faction here on cycle 39, day 1, if I can actually talk correctly, which it appears that's not possible today, but here we are anyway. We started this mega project last time. I gotta hit pause because we're gonna have to redo a little bit of this, but I had a very productive set of streams this past weekend trying to figure out exactly what it was I wanted to do with this. And we've got a number of decisions to make as a result of what we learned during those live streams. First of all, we've got to figure out what height this is at. It's at 24. So this the base of this is sitting on top of block 24, which basically means it is not going to be possible to use terrain like I had originally thought on top of these platforms, which is going to complicate things just a little bit. This right here on level 22 is also too tall to use terrain. We can only go up to block 21, and that is something I should have thought of before I started building this the way that I did. So we have a few options. Option 1 is we can cut this down to a shorter height, and that is going to require that we move some of these ruins out of the way, which I had originally wanted to avoid because it was going to be a pain in the butt and take a long time. Well, guess what? This was already going to take a really long time. But what that would do, depending on how far down we took this, if we went down 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks to the top of this platform and then put something up there, then I believe, yeah, that would be just about high enough for this to be viable the way that I originally wanted to do it. That would, of course, mean that I have to take this, and I think maybe that's it. Those 4 towers out, which I could, yes, come underneath with a tunnel, but I feel like that kind of defeats the purpose. So we'd have to get rid of those normally. And then bringing it over here, my only concern is that it would cause interference with the zip lines. So what I'm going to have to do is, first of all, remember how I did this. 6x1 overhang as a placeholder, and then that's on the end. Okay, if we get rid of that, will I be able to, without causing a problem, come this way? Yes, I will. And then put that there. That is going to work, and I believe be okay. However, comma, if we move the rest of these down 3 full blocks, then what's going to happen is, actually no, that's going to be the correct height if this stays the same. My concern, well, I had a lot of concerns. The main concern I had was, can I use this to get water all the way, come on, there we go, all the way over here, because again, the goal is to get water from this reservoir that we're otherwise not doing anything with, all the way over here during droughts and bad tides so that the rafts can continue to flow. And if I can get the water to go all the way across here with enough flow, then it's going to be okay. But I need headroom to make sure that that's not going to be an issue. I think it's probably going to be fine if there's enough flow behind it. But we're going to get there. We're going to get to that point. But anyway, all of this to say, there is a very specific reason why I did this the way that I did it. And I did it incorrectly as part of pursuing that reason. So, to kind of fix this... Oh, they actually started building this already? Anyway, I'm going to have to do a little bit of reorganizing. I know there's a few that expressed displeasure at how I handled this. And you know what? I can't really argue with you there. But what do I always say in all these videos is that I will show you the true, authentic process of me figuring out what in the world I'm doing. Whether or not that's a good thing is up to you to decide, but I think this is the best way to do this. So this is going to be our new height. Let's just confirm that we can put... oh, really? Seriously? After all that, let's... Oh, and I still put it in the wrong spot. Anyway, that is... Oh, that's gonna cause some problems. Alright, I'll tell you what. Remember, I also don't I don't edit these or take out mistakes, so you get to see exactly what I'm working with. You know, having this like this at this side is probably going to be okay because of how I have this set up. I do have, from the live stream, I did take some screenshots of the prototyped thing. I'm not going to show them to you because that would be impossible for me to do while I'm doing this video. But I had this figured out where I could do this by using dirt, and I haven't... I clearly have not done a good enough job of that. So, what is going to happen here is I'm going to have to redo this one more time. We're going to take this down to match height-wise. Is this all going to be... Yeah, so... Oh, you guys are going to love me. You're going to love me so much for this. I'm going to just take out this single piece right here in the middle, and instead just do 2 like that, and then from that spot, do one of these numbers, and then as a result of how this is laid out, now I can put dirt on top. That was basically the whole idea, and of course the bottom of this will be covered with impermeable floors, but I need the dirt to be accessible on the top of this for a specific reason that you will see momentarily once I am able to actually get the rest of this set up. So, to spare you most of the pain and suffering, what's happened here is I have devised, with the help of some very smart people in live stream chat, we'll fix that. I'm not going to subject you to that right now. I will, unfortunately, have to take all of this stuff off and redo basically every piece of this, because what we have to do is we have to match height to when this is going to show up here. I have to use dirt for the system I'm designing because it has to have an overhang at the same level without a support structure underneath. So for that to work, in fact, I'll just go ahead and do all this. And then I'll time-lapse the rest of this later. The bottom of this one, to match everything, has to be 2, and then on top of that, 3, so we'll do the same thing here, and then we'll do the same thing in the corner to the one that's already built. Yes, I know that's not ideal, but it is what it is. That's what we're going to have to do. So this one right here should be a little bit easier to line up, just because that is right there. This one, of course, to line up with what we'd already done, goes in like that. And then, now instead of doing metal platforms, I could just do more dirt. But I had concerns. I guess I'll just show you. And maybe we can decide if that's actually going to be viable. But you can only go out with dirt 3 blocks from the center. And I don't need to go that far on this side. I technically don't need to go this far on this side. But the reason I originally designed this with metal was because I didn't have the confidence it would be at a height where I could actually use dirt. So I could get away with doing this. Of course, I can't delete this right now because it has a dirt attached to it. So we'll just take this back. But the reason I'm not going to do that, or I guess I could... I could maybe do it other way. But the original reason I wasn't going to do that was so that I could have a path under here so that they could build a substantial part of this from underneath before getting on top. If I do it from up top with the dirt, they can only stand on one piece of dirt at a time until it goes further that way. But honestly, I think at this point it probably doesn't matter. So, I know people probably already clicked off of this because it's kind of garbage at this point, but... We're going to do what we're going to do. This has to be that height. Yeah, there we go. So for this to be, I believe, what it needs to be, then this has to go not quite. I need one more. This has to go here. If I'm doing it with... no, get out of here. If I'm doing it with metal, then it has to be at that height. The other really hard part about doing this, without having this underneath, The hard part about doing it with the dirt is that it's going to be extremely difficult to build. But now that you guys have, whether you know it or not, you've given me the idea to just suck it up and do it anyway. I have to get the heights correct, and I wish I had a better way to show this to you. But for the purpose of what I'm attempting to do, this is going to have to go out, let's try, just to make this one 5x5 area. This has to go out like this, and then I'm going to need to have another thing underneath, which is going to be... no, for this thing it's not going to be possible to do dirt. We're going to have to do metal for this. So I appreciate you bearing with me. Like, I promise I'm trying my best. But this does absolutely have to be dirt for the reasons I'm about to show you. Because we're going to be stacking these mechanical fluid pumps, and the rough idea that I think I'd try to communicate didn't make any sense. So what I'm going to have to do now is just kind of build this in real time and show it to you. I need a gap between, come on, I hate it when this thing hides itself, between this platform and the lip of the platform below it, which will be here. The gap has to be 4, which means this is too high. So if I take this out, take that out, and on that exact spot, put that there, that is now the correct height difference. It is 4 blocks. So what has to happen here to do the amount of water lifting that I think is going to be necessary for this is we're going to have to build the following structure. We have impermeable floors right here. And then to match up with what's coming from below, I have to put another one there. But to get terrain blocks, I think what's going to work best is if I build out from the middle and then just do one of these numbers here. The arrow direction is a constant source of frustration for me, but it's fine. I then need to have this go up here. Let's go ahead and do this on this level, and because this is going to be the same level it dumps out at, then I don't need that, but I do need that to be there. I'm going to need this to go out that way. I'm going to need that to go out that way. This to go out this way, and I guess it doesn't matter which way this goes, but I already had this set up that way. So what's happening here, and the reason we have to have dirt is because I need to be able... This one needs to go away. I need to be able to create an overhang here without a support structure. The metal and the wood don't allow you to do that, but the dirt does. And the reason this has to be like this is because for me to get the amount of flow going over this aqueduct that I think I'm going to need, one of these we learned in the live stream is not going to be enough. I need 2 at minimum, 2 per level. And the only way to fit these on a 5x5 footprint is to stagger them. So what has to happen here is I need to, on this level, do a 4 high, and then on this level do a 3 and then a 2. Please hold. All right, I apologize. I had to pull up my screenshots because I was completely lost. I didn't need this second level here. What I needed to do was put dirt, and this is going to be very challenging to build, so you're going to need to, for the beavers to actually build it, you're going to need to bear with me here. But if I do that, that gives me a base, and then I can come out this way, and then I can, see again, the overhangs are very important. Come out this way, put that on top, that entire outside there, and then on this inside bit, I also need this to go here, except for right here, I need this to come out like this. And you might be saying, this is entirely gray, I can't see anything, blah, blah, blah. It's fine. It's going to be okay. It's going to make sense, because what happens here is I can nest the fluid pumps, thank you, lag, so that they connect to each other. They both draw from below, and they both put out into this dirt thing here, which is going to dump all of the water out into here so that it can join the aqueduct. That's where we're at. And this entire thing here is also going to have to be joined in from below, nesting in like that. Like, you see what this is set up like? It's really hard for me to explain, and I really hope you can understand what I'm trying to tell you. If not, then, well, I got bad news for you. It's not going to get any better. But this is basically what I'm trying to do so that this will be at the correct level here. so on and so forth, and then we just move on with our lives from there. But I have to get this down one more here, and then probably one more again to get to the levels of water that we're going to be messing with here. Because from here, down 1 block is here, 2 blocks is here, 3 blocks is here, 4 blocks is here. Which means the water to join this, if I don't build another level below, one more below this. Does that even make sense? Probably not. The water would have to be at maximum height to get anything in here, and we just can't do that. So, for that reason, I have to get rid of this zipline station. I cannot stand it when this thing disappears. This has to go away. All of this dirt has to go away, and we have to rebuild it. But it's going to be okay. We have the technology. We might not have the exact perfect plan set up right now, but it's going to be fine because I already tested this. And I know it works. I just have to be able to duplicate it. So, like I said, I need to go down 4 blocks. This is only 2. So, I'm going to first start by blasting this out, which they can still get to here. They just have to do a really long walk from way over somewhere else, right there. This is going to also have a thing up at the very top. That was a comment people left. But we're going to have to get this set up here. I'm just going to, yeah, just so this can work right, I'm just going to have to do that. And then pop in a staircase. Again, the easiest thing to do is just do one of these. It's going to take a little while to build it. But it's going to be fine. I really just had to tell you guys about how this is going to work before I started doing this, or it was going to be a whole thing of, oh, well, now it's even more confusing. We've accomplished nothing. Like, well, you know, you're probably not wrong in saying that, but it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. So at least they can kind of start working on this. I know they're building this platform from below. We need to, before things get too crazy, I guess we could just leave the rest of this alone because they can't reach it anyway. We'll fix it when the time comes. But we have to get them over here to remove this scrap metal, which fortunately we do need scrap metal. I just need to make sure that they are going to take each of these away and not focus on the other ones, which means I need 4 separate things as close as possible. And then I need to get a path either directly or indirectly over here. And I think probably the easiest way to do this, I know it sounds kind of weird or dumb or whatever, but the easiest way is probably just going to be to come from over here. Since I know they have access to this. What is going to be... That's going to be the closest I can get. That is probably... Yeah, they're going to have to walk over here anyway. Again, for right now, while we can't get up to the top, it's going to be fine. That's just what it's going to be. Oh, stop hiding this, please. I'm begging you. I need to have the pathway come over here. Look at them go. They're like ants when you step on an anthill. That has to go out to probably... Oh, can I even... Yes, all right. That needs to come out to here, and then I'm going to have to give them... Again, the zip lines are great, except for the part where you have to be able to get to the place where you're building the zip line before you can build the zip line, which kind of, to a certain extent, defeats the purpose of the zip line. But I digress. I just have to get across here with a station as close as I can, which is... Looks like right about here. Get that hooked up there. Get that hooked up there. That actually worked out pretty nicely. Then I have to get this across here. Then I suppose I will just have to go down and then back up. So we'll just take the straight line, not there, straight line approach. Give them plenty of tasks at the very least. Get that there, get that there. And then, of course, this will be connected, even though they're going to prefer taking that. So, now we can continue with this, which, K for kaboom, brings us to this spot now being the correct height to the bottom of this. We are going to have to put in additional dirt to fill this in, but this gets us so much closer. Why did that have, Why did that have explosives down there? That doesn't make any sense. Well, it's not that big of a deal. I've got to get this into... I might as well at this point just raise all of this up so it creates less of a tremendously annoying problem. Let's just do that. And then the outside of this has to go like so. I need to have the gap here. And then to chain into the other thing we're working with, I have to have... Wait a minute. Wait a minute. That was a... No. That's right, because this is going to be... I built the other one from the bottom up. I'm building this one from the top down. That's probably not a smart idea. I promise it's going to be fine. It's going to be okay. Hopefully. That's going to have... Before I get a beaver stuck in here. This is a mess. This is a huge mess. Let's just get this hooked up there. Are they... No, they're not even close. But I believe if I have done this correctly, that should be... Yeah, I've just got to line this all up. I've got doubles there, and then everything else has to... Come on, lag. There we go. That is also going to be a piece of terrain. That's what I'd missed. Is that this had to be set up like that. That was causing me my problems there. So it's 3 2s, then 2 3s, and then on top of that, I hope nobody gets stuck doing this, but on top of that I've got to do this, got to do this, got to do this, and before you ask, yes, I have to have the dirt on the bottom or else it's not going to line up right. But that's got to go there. Then that's got to go there to the tune of 3. That's got to go there. I know it's really hard to see when this is all gray, and I know it's not ideal, but it is going to be for the best once this is actually taken care of. This, I don't know that they can actually reach. No, they can. They can. That's going to be fine. Just don't get stuck. Please don't get stuck. It's so annoying to try to fix that when they get stuck. That goes there, that goes there. I am going to pause the construction of these things because they are kind of annoying, but that is going to be the best way to transmit power. Of course, we're going to have vertical power transmission as well, which is where this also has to come in. I suppose there's probably a better way to do this, but to be perfectly honest with you, I don't know what that way is. This is just the best I can do. I did think maybe I could put a, I could put a turbine on this. That would probably be a smart thing to do, just to make sure there's some sort of power. It's going to be all connected, you know, just because that's how it goes. I had to make sure I didn't have my, I didn't have my game audio muted because I'd tabbed over to have the screenshot I was working with. But I think we are fine. Remember, the goal here is to have water collect in these pools and then get pumped to go into these pools up here and then get pumped up here so it goes into whatever. So I honestly probably didn't need to have this built out all the way here. I could have just moved this back a little bit, but I figured this was going to be the easiest way to do it. And if I have to make it taller, then I can, because I already have that same thing set up there. Now the question becomes, what am I going to have to do to make sure that this is full enough to always pump up? Because right now, this reservoir level is not high enough for this to be a viable thing. And they are still somehow not working on all of this. But that's fine. I do need to... yeah, I need to actually pause these because they will absolutely build them. And I don't want that. Let's actually do that real quick. I know. I'm trying my best. But I need to remember to come back and do these. That's going to be a time-lapse thing. I just need to set this up so you guys can see what I'm doing, so it's not just what in the world is this guy up to, and nobody has any clue what's going on. But this is, if this is level that we have to get up to, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way down here. I just have to strategically blast this out. So those 3s can go all the way down. This is going to be 1 down, 1 down, and then this already is out. This has to be 2, and I know we have this path here. The path is not important long term. It's going to go away. But this is going to be where this other thing gets built, and it doesn't have to have metal or anything. It's just going to be dirt. And the idea is that this could just naturally fill and then pump up to here. Or if this is able to naturally fill, then it can also naturally fill. And how I'm going to accomplish that is I'm going to take that terrain block out, because it is in the middle. Yeah, and I'm going to instead put in a fill valve, and it's just going to always be open, just so that always goes in. But, again, we want this to be able to always operate, so that's why that has to go that way. This says it can't be reached. I'm going to pause this so they can... Oh, come on. So they can pop this guy in place, and then unpause it. Again, it's a complicated thing that I'm trying to do, and I haven't done a very good job of explaining it, I know. But it is hopefully going to make sense. I mean, I hate to say just trust the process, because you know how much I've kind of abused that over the over the years of doing these videos. But it is, in fact, a process. So if we can get through it, then we're going to be fine. We just have to, you know, get through the part that's honestly pretty confusing and go from there. I think I'm safe to detonate this without anybody getting exploded. Yeah. That's done. So then that gives me 4 blocks down. No, that only gives me 3. I should have, how did I manage to do that? Okay, I've got to go. I don't have to, but for the sake of my sanity, this is the outer wall, can be 3, but the inner, these 3 have to go down. And then whatever I'm going to use to fill this has to go down. So for that to be a thing, I know I have the ladder thing here. Before you say it, I'm not using it in this playthrough because we already got to episode 29 without using them. This is just installed for my other live stream thing. I'm just going to... Did they get the rest of this done? They did not. Can they reach that? I think they can. Oh! The bots can do it from below. Of course they can. How could I have ever doubted them? Alright, that'll let them take care of everything else there. This is just about done. And then the really hard part with this is going to be getting the beavers in a place to actually build the dirt. We're going to have to build scaffolding, and it's going to be weird. And I know you're probably not going to like it. But, you know, you got to do what you got to do. Those of us of a certain age, at least, all saw the Mike Rowe show. It's a dirty job. Somebody's got to do it. Actually, I think the lyrics of the song were it's a dirty job, but someone's got to do it. But that's probably neither here nor there. Now, why, you might be saying, why are you bothering putting a fill valve all the way down here when it's very unlikely that this will ever be low enough for this to be a thing? Well, the answer is because I can. And if I didn't put it in, I can absolutely guarantee you that I would need it. So, just cover all your bases, so on and so forth. But this is going to be a little different because I don't have to have something coming in from this side. That's what that's already for. So what I will just do here is build this all the way across with the double platforms, even though I know we have the dirt here we can just kind of build off of. Remember, it's not always a logical thing. The way that this gets set up, so I do appreciate you bearing with me here. That actually might not be able to be built like that if it's waiting for the other stuff behind, so maybe I'll have to wait. Did I do this one? No, I did that way. That's probably the correct way to do it. Let's turn... Oh, I didn't put that one there. Did I do this right? No. No, I did. Okay. Just that very brief moment of panic that I have done something just irreparably wrong with this. Okay, that goes there, that goes there. This has to be paused. I don't think I'm in danger any longer to do this without the game being paused. Okay, let's... honestly, no, I don't even need that. Because there's no reason it was already... Why am I like this? Anyway, this... Look. Oh, boy. Look, it is what it is, alright? Let's just get this popped in. Oh, is this gonna... Okay, well, this zipline is not going to be here. Always just remember that this is supposed to be a turbine. And that is... that's going to be what we get ourselves into. Okay, they are actually making some pretty quick work of this. I think that is probably fine. I just need to build the backside of this, which I think is probably no longer an issue. I just got to get the rest of the dirt in here. And then that can go on this side, and I don't have to worry about doing anything else with that, because that's all done. Alright, now... The absolute hardest part of this is going to be getting beavers high enough in the air to actually build all of this to the degree that it has to be built. We have to have this overhang done, which can be done from beneath, but without ladders is going to be a challenge. And I already said I don't want to use those, so I'm going to just ask for your patience on that. I think otherwise I should be okay. Just need to make sure I can be able to get up here. We do, helpfully, have... That was already the correct way. Spiral stairs, which should make this a comparatively much less painful endeavor, because it can take up a lot less space. So that is what I will do here. I will turn that into a... Actually, that was already in the way. So spiral stairs get to be useful another way. I guess I'll just have this be... I know this is ugly, just please bear with me. Then that's going to allow them to build this from underneath, and then not a ton else. But the solution to that, and again, I know this is ugly, the solution to that is just build more stairs. That gets them to this level, which will allow them to do almost everything else for these bottom two. And then getting to the top of this is going to be the next hurdle. But depending on how this is going to get constructed, I don't think I can get away with not doing anything but coming up this way. So for that to be a thing, I'm going to have to... And again, I know. But this is exactly what you signed up for, remember? I always tell you. We're gonna do it the way that I think it should be done. Whether or not that means it's a good thing is up to you to decide. But we've all committed to this insanity, and we're gonna see it through. I've just got to be able to get up to I think I can get away with doing this as a spiral. Yeah, and then I just pause that, and then they can get up to the top of this and almost build everything. I just need to give them a path to the top of that, which is going to be maybe not quite enough. Ah, yes. The absolute idiot brigade has gotten themselves stuck once again. Don't ask who told them where to go. Spoiler alert, it was me. That's why they're stuck. But at long last, I think I have a pathway to getting the rest of this built, so I'm going to do a little bit of a time lapse here. Just to get this initial segment up and running, see if anything is, just completely off base. And then, if and when that is successful, we'll move on to what's going to have to be next. Alright, they've gotten most of this done, and I'm like 90% sure it's going to be fine. Hopefully. Sorry, I had to click out again to make sure I was actually recording my voice still. The backside of this is kind of a mess. And I think... I left this open so they could actually build these things. That's right. So I guess we can probably just go ahead and build these, because I've got the materials for it. I'll get that turned on in the neck and get that sealed back in. But as you probably saw, I made some errors in scaffolding placement to get this stuff done, and it ended up being kind of a pain. But the good news is they can get in here to actually place these, should they decide to actually do that. And this will be fine once I get everything else connected. But I do need to remember that I have to get rid of this zip line before I can put anything there. And then the last major thing we need to do that I think is going to be a big pain is get this set of, come on lag, vertical power shafts all taken care of. And I do want that one to be, or no, I can move that down one more. That's what I was doing. And I don't think that's ever going to be flooded, so that should be fine. I did pause this one so I don't have to listen to it going creaking for the next 800 years without it actually being in use. But then all I've got to do for down here to get this to be a viable setup is move the path so I can actually get around here. And then just get this power shaft popped in all the way over to this, which I don't think is going to be an issue at this point. That'll get it connected to the main power grid, which means these can basically always run, no problems. We don't want them to run currently, so I am going to hit pause on these two, but they are built, which means short of... Oh, come on, let me see this. Short of the rest of this getting done, we don't need anything else here, but they also can't get up to this. So... for this to be slightly less of an annoying thing, I'll just put that in there, and then I will put in this piece of terrain, which I don't think they really need to have there, but it's going to be okay. No, that's going to be done. I just have to remember to come over here and put the wind turbine once this is taken care of. It actually looks like this is done to the degree that it needs to be done. So, I'm going to remove the zipline station connection. Now, these are still connected, mind you, to this path. They just have to take a very, very, very long route. But it has served its purpose. And for me to be able to do everything else I want to do with this, that did have to go away, which means that will go there just fine. And now, the most fun part, depending on who you ask, is to pop all of this in place. And this in the corner is not going to connect all the way, but that is fine because it doesn't have to. All we have to do is make sure that this is going to be 5 wide on the bottom where it needs to be so I can have the walls come in, and then that's going to be okay. Remember, the corner doesn't have to touch specifically. Now we're in a drought. Everything else is fine. Like, gameplay-wise, we basically cracked the code on this a long time ago, so we don't need to worry. But I am still duty-bound to attempt and make this as nonsense-free as possible, even though a substantial quantity of nonsense has already occurred. And again, like I said, I'm not going to subject you to all of this being replaced in real time, but I do want to take care of a couple more things before I go into full time-lapse mode again. I know I have to redo all of this. That's something we've kind of already discussed. But I think, friends, this is going to be pretty viable, and it is, once everything's operating, going to be pretty cool. I am very much looking forward to that being in operation. But now, of course, comes the time where I have to reset all of these heights, and it's going to be a process, and you already know what the other half of that statement is. So, I will check back with you in, I don't know how long, could be an hour or two on my end, but for you it's just going to be a couple more seconds, and I hope after that point in time we'll have something much more exciting to discuss, like what's going to go on top of this. But we'll see. I'll talk to you in just a moment. Alright, so you might be wondering why I'm still talking to you instead of doing live play here, and that is because this is taking a tremendously, ridiculously long amount of time. But I do think I've got a decent system set up where we're constantly extending the zipline station every 30 blocks, so it takes a little bit less time for the bots to get up there. I've added additional bots as builders, although there is only so much they can do at any one time because you can only ever have one bot working on one construction at a time, and there are some that are, well, quite literally load-bearing and then figuratively load-bearing because they have to be built before a whole bunch of other stuff can get built. So it's just going to take the time that it takes, and that's the way it goes. But we are on the way. Things are progressing, and there's still so much more that has to get built. But it's going to be fine, because they're going to get it done, and we're not going to have to worry about too much more except that. But you might have seen flash by during some part of this time lapse, the very end where it's supposed to dump out into that pool. The design as it currently is does not permit clearance to get over the zip line there, and I'm not exactly sure at this moment how I'm going to resolve it. I'll think about it a little bit, and if I have the time to let this sit here and run for them to build all of this up to that point, then we'll talk about it this episode. If not, I genuinely don't know yet. If not, then we'll address it at some point in the future, but I'm thinking what might have to happen there is I may have to reroute the zipline or slightly lower it, which won't be too hard. But I want to do it in a way that's not going to be completely ridiculous. I just need the vertical clearance for the, even if it's not dirt, even if it's just metal, but I need it to be able to get on the top of the zipline to cross over to dump into the lake properly. Or I could just have it dump off the end of the waterway there and then put a trench in the ground and have the water go beneath the zipline, underneath the pathing or something like that. But we'll investigate what's going to be best when we get to that point, and it's just going to have to wait until then. Hopefully, the next time I speak to you, it'll be with news of completion of this, but it's going to depend on how fast these bots can make this stuff go. All right, I'm out of time to record, which is unfortunate because we are only less than halfway finished with this. We're maybe if we're being generous, 40%. But, you know, it is one of those things that will, in fact, just take time. And there's going to be a lot of that. But I did want to take a moment to talk about what's going to have to happen here. Because I did mention during that time lapse that the way this is currently set up, it is going to conflict with this zipline. So we do have some options. One of those options is the zipline stations on here can remain, although they'd have to be raised up one more level when we actually get water running through, and we could just use that as a transportation corridor. That's probably the most realistic thing. But that would allow us to remove these here and allow this to cross over. Or, like I also said, I could just have this spill, I guess, yeah, into these 3 tiles and then just go straight through. That would be a very easy solution and wouldn't require reworking this, but let's be honest, this probably needs to be reworked anyway. So let me know your thoughts. As always, you are more than welcome to provide whatever feedback or opinions that you possess, and I will receive those. Another thing that I thought I had already done, but maybe not, was put all of these in explosives in here. I don't see... okay, here's the ones I hadn't detonated. That was last episode, and I completely forgot about it. So let's do those now. This, of course, being something that's going to prevent the bad water contamination from spreading too terribly far. And yeah, okay, there's one here. And then there's one here, which I need to connect by removing this and then doing a double here as well to get that other side. And then, of course, we can have that reconnected very easily without waiting by putting a single suspension bridge. But I do feel compelled to have this taken care of because I am going to forget, as I frequently do. So you get that done. And I don't know that there was another one over here. I don't think there was. But coming back to this, I was pretty sure I'd already done this, but I guess not. So, no better time than the present to go ahead and knock this out, right? Just get these all set up. I do not think they can get to these at the very end, so best way to accomplish that is going to be to put in a little bit more, and I think I can do 2. Yes, that will do the trick to get them to the end here. But we will K for Kaboom what we can K for Kaboom when we can K for Kaboom it. So that one 5 times fast. And then, you know what? I thought they could have gotten everything, but I guess not. We'll have to wait for this to get done, and then that'll be ready to go. But yeah, I wanted to make sure I addressed that, because boy, would that have been, embarrassing to forget about that for multiple episodes. I don't think anybody left a comment about it, though, so maybe you guys also forgot. Other stuff. These are done. I don't want to be pumping water up because it doesn't really have anywhere to go, but I did think it would be a smart idea to check for completeness on the seal here. And it seems like it's fine all the way around. And then when we get up here, obviously this needs to be sealed back up. But actually, now that we have zipline here, I think we can safely put this back in place. And then, you know, even though this is completely open, this will be done. And that was important to me that it be taken care of. So before we're finished, I'm going to turn these on and see just how fast this is actually going to go. It looks like it's actually a decent quantity of water coming out. I think that's going to work, folks. It's got a nice amount of flow going through a single wide. It's not a ton, but it will tell us if we put in a stream gauge what the actual flow rate is. So I'm going to let them take care of this very quickly here, assuming they can actually do it in time. It should be, I think, 0.3-ish CMS, unless I'm massively misremembering, which is always... Oh, okay, it's 0.5. Because I think it's two of these do about 0.25 is what we decided in the stream. Anyway, half a cubic meter per second really isn't a lot of flow. But it is flow. And this will be able to do, I think, most of what I want it to do. For right now, though, we don't need it. So I'm going to hit pause, and we can just leave that be, let this drain out, and move on with our lives. But I'm feeling pretty good about this, and we're only 0.3 days away from the end of this drought. So this is a good time to end this episode. There's just, you know, not a lot happening here because we're waiting to get all this other stuff taken care of. Oh, somebody asked when I was going to finish the dam in one of the previous videos. I mean, this is pretty much done. I don't know what else I can really do with this, but I did want to address that because I do always read all the comments. But yeah, it's time for this one to be done, folks. I appreciate you sticking with it. I know this is maybe not as much progress as you'd like to see in an episode, but it's very necessary for us to get this much done. I time-lapsed a whole bunch of stuff. I've been recording over 2 hours. I don't even know how long this episode's going to be. But, you know, typically I just record these straight through with no edits or whatever. So this is a lot longer than I was planning on doing while also having streamed this night. But I really appreciate you guys, like I said, sticking through this. Beard boosters, of course, subsidize everything. So we can continue to do things exactly the way we've always done them. Whether or not that's a good thing, I don't know. Maybe that's up for debate. But I like doing this stuff on this channel the way that we've been doing it. And those of you who keep coming back to see all the videos clearly either like it or tolerate it. So I'm just assuming that's fine. And those folks, of course, are the reason why we can do that without having to do the brain rot edits or chasing trends or the algorithm or whatever. We just have fun playing with beavers on the internet and go on about the rest of our lives. So I'm always going to thank those folks, and I'm going to thank you too, even if you're not on that list. I hope you enjoy the videos. Let me know if there's ever anything you want me to try to do to improve things or improve a build or whatever. I do always try to be receptive to whatever kind of input. Can't promise we're going to do it, but I do always want to be genuinely invested in making sure that your time spent watching these is not wasted. So, again, I just appreciate you so much. Just please always know that. Whatever it is you're doing with the rest of your day, stay safe, have fun, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.